So displaced people. Who are these displaced people that you speak of? Because people have an origin. Yes, it's frozen.
Man, get in here, get in here, get in here.
European or American. So
That's what I'm saying. So you don't think they like compromise once coming to America?
Compromise who? Man,
Like rituals that we do using that
ritual using what rituals are we
things
using?
that they found ways to do it in
What
America.
rituals are we using from Africa? Graham Esther Lou don't know who Esther
I
Lou.
was just at
Once I got you. Esther Lou from Alabama
the
don't know
practice.
what you say. You breaking up. Esther Lou from Alabama does not know who Ogun is. Betty Mae from Mississippi don't know who Oshun is. Like,
yeah, I asked my mom about Oshun, and she told me to I need to stop hanging out with them foreigners. That's what she said. She said I need to stop talking about demonic things.
like they don't know. Like, folks in the South don't know don't know who Obatala is.
I mean, I mentioned these names, and my family thought I was talking to demons or something. So I'm just saying, like,
What's up, this?
What I'm saying is y'all don't think that can naturally go away with time, just like language.
What? Why? How would a deity that's venerated go up and go away? It like people are still Christian, right? Christianity ain't just up and go away.
Christianity is more of a like well-formed, established religion.
If that's somebody's culture doesn't just up and go away. Somebody's culture, and then if it did up, there's still remnants of it. There will still be remnants. People will
Now, what I'm
remember.
saying is like when you're dealing with oral traditions, things are always changing. It's always evolving.
So whose oral traditions mention Ogun, Oshun, Elegu? Like who in their family has ever mentioned that?
That's what I'm saying. I don't know the names, bro. I'm just saying, like, I'm just using like
Well, maybe
possibilities.
you're making possibilities about something you don't know about. So how
No,
are you
I'm
making
because
possibilities?
I'm wondering, like, so you I don't I'm just thought it was related to voodoo.
No, it's
Like,
not.
we know they practice voodoo, like in, you know what I'm saying?
Like voodoo is not. It's no relation because hoodoo's a new term for it. This some new stuff. Hoodoo's even new. They like this is like folks ain't even call it that.
That's what I'm saying, bro. You talking about the modern name? I'm talking about the practices, the rituals.
The practices and the rituals are from America. This is American root work. High John the Conqueror, which is a deity, is it's a plant from Mexico. High
No, I'm
John the
talking
Conqueror is a plant
the
from
stuff that the Haitians do ain't hoodoo, right?
No, the Haitians don't practice hoodoo. They practice.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The form that they practice, they got it from Africans, right?
They got it from people in Louisiana, actually.
I don't know them.
What's up? Hey, Yaya. Long time no see.
Could explain it because I have both cultures. I'm back. I hear an echo, but it both of it comes from America cultures. The Haitians are part of the different tribes in America, so they brought it over to Haiti during the revolutionary. I mean the war that they had. So all those practices came from America.
So how did the Africans get it? How do Africans know it?
No hoodoo?
Hoodoo and voodoo, they got it from us.
Africans learn voodoo from Americans.
Voodoo,
Yes.
voodoo, or voodoo. They call it voodoo in Africa. It's two different things.
They don't. When I talk to Africans, they don't know what I'm talking about. If I'm starting to talk about hoodoo and traditions that we have here, they don't know what I'm talking about.
Because they got a different name for it, bro. But we know
No,
that they
they
do
don't
the
understand
practices.
any. No, our practice is completely different. It's completely different.
Hence they put religion with theirs. They're more religious with their practices. We're not so much religious. I mean, some of us are, but
Hey, what's up?
theirs
What's
is
up?
definitely
What's up? What's up?
different.
What's up, my African
Right?
brothers and sisters?
Don't you hear somebody
Yeah,
Don't
talking, yo?
disrespect me like
Don't you?
that.
Yeah. Don't you hear people talking, yo?
You're my African brothers and sisters.
Like
Hold,
goodbye, goodbye. Don't come up here interrupting,
um,
folks. You'll get dropped. This ain't the live for
yeah,
that.
what I was saying is that Kick is right. Africans practice of voodoo or whatever you want to call it is different than our practice.
And yeah, and I just want to give you an example for voodoo. In African voodoo, you have Legba. Legba is like the gatekeeper. He controls the communication between humans and all other deities. He's seen as like a trickster. He's seen as trickster. He's seen as pretty negative. In Haitian voodoo, Pop is Papa Legba instead of just Legba. It's Papa Legba. He's seen as like a
That
guardian of crossroads. The crossroads is like very similar to how the Native Americans look at crossroads. And then in Louisiana voodoo, Legba is like similar to the Haitian Legba, except they pair it with Catholic saints. So all three of those are practiced differently. So I'm trying to figure out
that
how they're the same thing. Because if you practice the voodoo from
So you
America,
telling me they got more?
if you practice the voodoo from America, you have to believe that Papa Legba is a pretty good deity, like a pretty good deity, a deity that you can worship, a deity that you can call on. And if you're from Africa, you have to think that the Legba over there is a pretty negative deity, a deity that you want to stay away from, a deity that tricks people. So
so
That's the small.
so
That's a small difference of the
so
origins are
as long as
still the same. Is what I'm saying.
that's not. If I wanted to worship a deity,
They just looking at the.
I
They
wouldn't
just looking at
worship
the
something
deity
that's trying to
difference.
trick me and manipulate me. I would worship something that's going to guide me, right? Those are two different things, right?
Right. So
My
Legba and Baron Samedi in Louisiana culture, they are very good deities. They have a dark side to them, but even their dark side is very just. Because I'm a daughter of Samdi, that's why my last name, the second name is Samdi. They're just in both. They're just like he does have a dark side, kind of like with us, we have a good and we have a dark side to us.
What's up, OD?
But if
OD.
you huh?
I'm speaking to somebody. Somebody said what's
Oh,
up.
so if you pull if you were to pull these deities up and in this bloodline as well, they gotta be in your bloodline for you to like for them to communicate with you, like communicate, not saying that you can't like work with these deities, but they work more with their bloodline. Africans, they call them different names, and they believe that more so Papa is a trickster, like what Venus was saying, but they're not negative deities at all.
And then I want to add for hoodoo.
This is what I want y'all to understand. If I took Hoodoo,
Venus is
And then
speaking,
I want to
and then
add.
I'm gonna shift it back to the hoodoo conversation because
Yeah,
this is what it's
I'm back
about.
to hoodoo. I'm going back to hoodoo right now. I just wanted to add that for hoodoo, it does have Celtic influence. The way we use scripture for curses, charms, stuff like that to speak good deeds over things. That's how the Scottish used Christianity when the Christians invaded Scotland. So hoodoo also has Celtic influence from our Celtic roots. A lot of us have Celtic roots. Hoodoo is indigenous and European. Okay, that's what hoodoo is. Has nothing to do with Africa.
okay. So what I was gonna say is if I take Hoodoo and whatever y'all practices is and flip it completely around and call it Doohoo, it's the same shit.
What? Watch your
It's
mouth.
just
Don't cuss on
it's
my
it,
panel.
it's the same thing. It's just the same origin.
Can you please actually
for
can you
one,
address her
yeah,
points?
for one,
Can you address her points,
hold on,
bro?
for one,
Can you actually address
hold on, for
can you actually address her points, please?
actually, for one, it's a family tradition first. So you had to learn hoodoo from your family. You can't let this. What the problem
You
is?
had to learn hoodoo
Oh,
from
you
your
got
family.
echo. You got echo, Los. Yeah. For one, right? Yeah. Like I said, it's something from your family. What messed the game up? You got people like Melville Herskovitz teaching people like Zora Neale Hurston that folks' culture comes from Africa. Now they mixing all types of things up and teaching people about creating something out of something that's supposed to be about your family's origin. I got the Hoodoo tarot deck that was made by an American Indian. I can read the booklet. But yeah, what's up, Los?
Close.
Oh, you're on mute, Los.
All right, can y'all hear? Okay, I was trying to fix my camera. Is my sound good?
Yeah, you sound good.
Okay, because it ain't lighting up on my end. But I just wanted to show this document since it is our culture month and everything. That for those who don't know, hoodoo is an indigenous medicine psychiatric by Black Americans. Um, and there's a difference between indigenous hoodoo doctor and a lot of people confuse it with the indigenous voodoo priest doctor.
Yeah.
Voodoo has been in Haitian culture way before European contact. We have always did that. Now the reason why our culture is being Africanized because Melville Herstovix, the one who's studying our indigenous medicine right now, later on Africanize it and say everything comes from Africa, right? We already know that story. So I just wanted to show this. If anybody want to screenshot it, go and get their copies or whatever. It's very much, it's very deep, and it also tells you the difference between hoodoo, voodoo, Santeria, the African spirituality, what the Jamaicans do and their spirituality and everything like that. It's all different, but most of it is all indigenous though. We just got different variations of it.
Yeah.
Okay. I got my screenshot.
And let me pull up some. Where's the tarot deck? Yep, I got the deck right here.
I love this.
Yeah, I got the deck right here. Hold on. Did everybody good with the screenshot? Before I move on, all right. So, this is a book. Oop, some cards fell out. Book made by my cousin. One of my cousins. She's a Powhatan. Yeah, Powhatan woman. Right? Golly. All these cards falling out. So yeah, we right here. The book is right here. Yeah, I'm not gonna get into know the origin of her. All right, boom, boom. Yeah, the origin of hoodoo. I'm gonna read. You know, y'all can be able to see it, but here's the book right here. All right, the origin of hoodoo. No one exactly knows that what we know today as hoodoo began, but it probably started not too long ago. After indigenous Americans, Africans, and Europeans came into daily contact with another during the colonial era. All three groups had significant indentured servant and enslaved populations who worked, socialized, and intermarried with one another. Most Europeans during the colonial era were overwhelmingly Protestant and hailed from England, Ireland, Scotland, Germany, and the Netherlands. The majority of the approximately 388,000 African people who were shipped to North America, including Canada, between the 17th and 19th century, came in varieties of ethnic groups. They were Madagascar, Congo, Igbo, Moors, Akan, Mende, Hausa, and Fulbe, among many others. There were hundreds of indigenous tribes in the southeast, alone prior to colonization, the smaller of whom later joined or were absorbed into larger confederacies such as the Creek or the Cherokee. Unbeknown to many, there were also other nationalities and ethnic groups who were enslaved, indentured, and voluntarily migrated to North America. During the colonial era as well, there were Darshan coolies from India and China, Pacific Islanders, Roma people, aka gypsies, many of whom were reclassified and denationalized in official documents by using descriptors such as YT, mulatto, or Negro. These groups are also ancestors of many, many Black Americans who incorporated their knowledge into hoodoo, but today have no clue that they have this ancestry. All of aforementioned from the world had their own cosmologies, philosophies, folklores, and remedies. There are forms of divination traditionally in hoodoo, which would be claromancy, which involves casting small objects such as shells, bones, stalks, coins, nuts, stones, dice, sticks, etc. A lot of this stuff is from America. The casting of bones specifically may be referred to sculpturemancy or oesteromancy. Root workers usually use cats, possum, or chicken bones as they perform preferred mediums for casting lots. I'm not gonna. You can buy the book for yourself. Yeah, cartomancy, which playing cards, is divination by means of interpreting cards. Traditionally, playing cards were only cards used by root workers because that was available to them. You had natural or judicial astrology, is the study of the positions of the celestial bodies in the belief that they have influence over nature and human affairs. Augury is the deciphering of the phenomena omens that are believed to tell the fortune and often signifying the advent of change and stuff like that. You had neuromancy, which is the form of divination based upon dreams. Root workers paid close attention to symbolism. So there's things to consider. They say, but yeah.
I like how the Asians mentioned too, because there is some a little bit of Asian influence in the hoodoo.
What's up?
People get mad when I talk about that, so I'm glad the book said it.
Yeah, so this is coming from like an unbiased, American Indian perspective. But basically, like in the beginning, I didn't read the beginning really, but she's basically saying like it depends on your family as well. It's based on your family practices and who you descend from. So that's the gist of hoodoo, because it's root work. You're using the roots of the land and how your family used those roots and what your family incorporated into. And then there's different types of hoodoos. You have Appalachian hoodoo. You have Atlantic hoodoo. You have Gullah Geechee hoodoo, and so on and so on. But yeah, you can. Here's the book again. It's the Hoodoo Tarot deck. It's probably about, I don't know how much it costs now, but I got this as a gift.
Yeah, that with the tarot deck now, it's probably like $44. But I was gifted mine too, so but you can get the deck without the book. It's probably cheaper.
Probably, yeah. And then you also, like I stated before, you have deities like High John the Conqueror, which is a plant from Mexico. Like,
Yeah, this is definitely not an African practice. Like I'm so glad like it's finally coming and debunked because like Africans want to take like everything. Like this is like our thing. And it comes from our family. My great grandma taught me everything that I know about it before she passed away.
yeah, and hold on, I did make some a presentation out of this. I would see if let me go to Google Sheets. Yeah, I made a whole presentation out of this a few years ago. Maybe 22, either 22 or 23. Sign in. Yeah, we can.
A lot of Gen Z no longer practices hoodoo because hoodoo it utilizes Christianity, and if you have like trauma or religion, you're probably not going to practice anything that has to do with Christianity anymore. So a lot of our people have gotten further away from their hoodoo roots without Christianity. So
I was about to say, and then slideshow. I was about to say, oh yeah, I made this. Hoodoo is not from. We had the definition of hoodoo right here. It's about. This is according to Webster's, of course. A body of practices, sympathetic magical tradition amongst blah 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 African Americans in the southern U.S. A natural column of rock in Western North America, often in fantastic form. Something that brings bad luck. So hoodoo is also a rock found in Western North America, and it can mean nonsense or hook'em. And then the verb hoodoo, to cast a spell, broadly to bring bad luck. It's a practice of ancestral veneration and utilizing nature. All the herbs, plants, remedies, etc. used in hoodoo comes from American soil. Hoodoo is also spiritual practice. And an introduction to hoodoo is someone that's made an article about it. Hoodoo isn't new, nor is it a catch-shell term for a variety of practices, which is own popular, blah, blah, blah. Hoodoo is actually its own practice with its own rules and history. In fact, the practice isn't even called spells, but works or chores. It's also been appropriated by many people, so a lot of misinformation is floating around. And then, hoodoo is a core tradition. It was created by, I'd say, disenfranchised people that were enslaved or people that were detribalized and stuff like that. Hoodoo is all.
Matt Airwalk, we don't really practice voodoo in the USA. There's some people who practice it, but it's like a very, very small amount of people.
Hoodoo is not voodoo, right? Hoodoo is also known by other names, mainly conjure. Like I said, we didn't call it that. I made a tweet about this. Hoodoo is something new. It's mainly called conjure, root work, or just roots. People who practice hoodoo work with a number of tools such as candles, curios, and of course, roots and herbs. Ancestral veneration is particularly important. Movies often show hoodoo as dark and harmful, but most of the work we do is concerned with healing and protection.
What about necromancy?
Yes, that's communicating with spirit. Like I'm trying to get through this. I don't want to be interrupted. Hoodoo isn't voodoo. There's a lot of confusion about hoodoo and voodoo. If you think they're the same, you're not alone, but it's time to unlearn that. Hoodoo and voodoo are very different. Voodoo is you have voodoo is a religion, originated in Haiti. This and that, right? As a religion, voodoo has specific practices, some which you had to be ordained to perform. It has religious leaders known as mambos and other things who oversee the practice. It has a set of deities and spirits that are worshipped and respected. Hoodoo, by contrast, does not have these things, although there is a belief in spirits and life-giving energies that you must follow. You are free to worship any gods or not that you want. There is no organized hierarchy. This isn't to say there are no rules to working with roots. There are, but this does not have a specific structure or associated with religion. Who? Go ahead. Go ahead.
I'm sorry, I thought you were done. I was gonna say, have you heard of Italian hoodoo?
What?
Yeah, the YT people try to make Italian hoodoo. If
They
you
can
like,
they can get that BS on somewhere. The
it's
ancestors.
crazy.
Yeah, I'm not the ancestors. Yeah, I'm gonna ignore that. Hoodoo is based in blah blah blah. Hoodoo isn't for everyone. It should be practiced only by Americans. The work was developed to protect and heal us from the traumas of enslavement, detribalization, all types of things. We can see this in the roots used for traveling safety in the containers work, but protecting the home against physical violence and winning, blah. Yeah, and then America has been, yada yada. Yeah, or they're attributed to Africa, right? And these are all the things they try to tie to Africa. You have the Congo Yawa cosmogram. They try to say this is, but you have the cross, which represents, if you've seen the what's it called, that fire wheel, that wheel that are people will use and stuff. The physical represents the physical world and the spiritual world. What else they try to say came from Congo? This is me breaking down the Wikipedia breakdown. Gnosticism, exactly. Blah blah blah. American Indians had their own cross. Shout out to Tasha She. They had their own cross. You can watch this video on your own. The Ankh and the Thunderbird, the Ankh, the cross, and the Thunderbird, and the definition of Wakanda. Wakanda means great spirit in Lakota. It's Siouan language. Yeah, and then we had the Ankh and the cross over here already. Can't really play that right now. But yeah, they try to the Nkisi stones and stuff like that. The Mikisi and the Nkisi objects. But the objects they are made with, right? You have coins, crystals, roots, fingernails, crab claws, beads, iron, bones, and stuff like that. So they're talking about Maryland specifically. They're talking about Maryland, my neck of the woods, right? They found coins, pre-Columbian Old World coins in America. This is a source right here. It's pretty small on the screen, but you can look at this source, pre-Columbian Old World coins in America, an examination of the evidence. I might redo this. As well, add some more stuff. Gemstones, like crystals, like Powhatan. Powhatan were known for using crystals and stuff like that. We've been using gemstones and stuff. So, yeah, healing crystals. You're using crystals. Fingernail clippings, but we had clipping tools and stuff like that. They got the crab claws. They're in Maryland. They got it from the Chesapeake Bay. So this is the Chesapeake blue crab right here. Yeah, native, we use beads and stuff. We make jewelry and all types of things. Iron. Iron. Yeah, they found iron in Brawl's tools in the old world. I'm trying to see where they found iron at. They found iron in okay, cool. Yeah, pre-Columbian would not have been large. Yada yada. They found Iron Age is an elusive term. This is and that. Oh yeah, they're saying they built the mounds with definitely different iron tools and stuff like that. So that's what this article is saying. You can read this right here. Oh, okay, that's why. And then you have raccoon bones. Raccoon bones. They use possum bones, cat bones too as well. Different types of bones. This is the raccoon bone right here. Your conjure cane. The conjure cane is the medicine stick. Had canes. We had canes. We were walking. We called them medicine sticks. You can decorate your medicine sticks how you want. Our Indian spirit stick. They call it medicine sticks or spirit sticks. Sutra, all these different tribes that jugs. Mississippian pottery right here. This is Mississippian pottery. You see, the American had face jugs. We made our own Mississippian pottery and things like that. Kind of skimming through this. I ain't trying to take too long. Get back to an open panel. The mounds. These are art made by the Quapaw, the Caddo, and other Mississippian tribes and stuff like that. Cahokia, architecture. This is a Mississippian pothead. that was found. This is 1200 to 1500 AD. They say. You had Cato pottery in the four corners of Arkansas, Louisiana, Texas, and Oklahoma. More Cato pottery. This is Quapaw pottery right here. This is Quapaw pottery and stuff like that. They say 1500 AD. Mississippian pots go from 1000 AD to 1600 AD, stretching from North Carolina after 1000 BC. So, oh, yep, 1000 BC in North Carolina. Mojo or Gree bags, they're medicine bags. You ain't supposed to let nobody see your Mojo or Gree bag anyway. So, you're not supposed to let anybody see that. They're used for protection, an esoteric system. Inside bags are either for protection, healing, or harming to consult with spirits. They also bring good luck and all types of stuff. Mojo bags are also called spell bags and medicine bags. See right here, Mojo bags are also called spell bags and medicine bags. And guess what? Our folks had medicine bags. Medicine bags are used by the people you would call shamans or whatever. Medicine men, shamans, whatever you want to call them. Call those people priests, whatever. Turbans. They say turbans came from West Africa and the Muslims that came over. They say turbans came from West Africa and the Muslims that came over here, but no, Indians were already wearing turbans over here. Seminole, you had the Seminole and the Miccosukee. They wore turbans for religious reasons, with silver bands, and they would use it for their annual green corn dance. Their most important religious gathering. These leaders are keepers of the Seminole history and preside over ceremonies. You have fur turbans in the Southern Plains. You see the Omaha, you had the Omaha and the Osage wearing turbans. They would have the red fox fur and all types of stuff. Definitely. And who else wore turbans? There's another tribe that wore turbans. The Warbler, the Otter fur turban. In the Southern Plains, you had the Osage, the Potawatomi, and then the Pawnee wearing that. In the Southern Plains, you had basket hats and stuff like that. The Cherokee and the Navajo also wore turbans as well. Blacksmithing.
Turban example right here.
Yeah, for sure. Hold on.
Do-rags.
Yeah, we were blacksmiths as well. In pre-cooked, you had gold, silver, and copper. They're making smithing out of copper, gold, and all types of stuff. Let me hurry, and then blah, blah, blah. This goes into the Gullah Geechee, but I'll bring it back. All right, y'all can go ahead. It's open now.
Oh, you forgot deer hooves as well, because that was also used as currency.
I also want to say too, there's a legend, and I'm probably gonna mispronounce this Indian tribe, but I think it's the Paiute tribe out west.
The Paiute, yeah.
Yeah. They have a story about the Hoodoo people, which is like ancient American Indian people, and if they telling you stories about the Hoodoo people and they live next to that Hoodoo rock that Darby explained to y'all, only people that's doing hoodoo is us. So that's another oral tradition of us already being here. You know, if you can connect those dots.
Exactly. They see the hoodoos, and they say hoodoo too as trickster spirits. You know, so they revere the hoodoos and the hoodoos.
And I just want to say because someone said they thought hoodoo. Someone thought hoodoo and voodoo was the same thing. The only people in the USA who really practice voodoo are the people that were converted to Catholicism. So most Black Americans, they were converted to baptism and Protestant, which is easier to incorporate hoodoo into baptism and Protestant. The people who were converted to Catholicism, they're more likely to practice voodoo because it's easier to incorporate voodoo practices in Catholicism. So that's all I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
And this
so my family's converted to Catholicism, so we don't really practice hoodoo like that.
For real, because I believe that like you got a whole bunch of Catholics that do preserve hoodoo aspects and even venerate like deities or saints to these.
I don't know.
That's more so voodoo. That's voodoo.
a lot of the stuff I heard from Hoodoo, I
Mm.
cannot relate. I literally cannot relate to it. I mean, I can relate to some of it, but most of it I cannot relate to, and that's because
Like the one.
my family actually does practice, they're Protestant and Baptist, but they converted to baptism in the 80s. Before the 80s, they were all Catholic. So there's just a lot of stuff about Hoodoo that I cannot relate to, like I see other Black Americans talking about. I mean, we don't practice voodoo either, but the stuff I be seeing in voodoo, I can relate more to that.
Yeah, if they're venerating saints, that's voodoo. That's
Mm.
voodoo. If they're venerating saints, like hoodoo, we don't have no set deities, and it's family based anyway. If they did, right? If they did have deities in specific, but most folks is Christian. That folks family was in Christianity, so they hid hoodoo is basically American Indian medicine that was hidden in the church.
Especially those of us who grew up as Black Baptists in the Methodist Church. They definitely
Yep,
hid it in there.
exactly.
Yeah, I grew up like that, but like I said, my family actually converted to baptism. Before that, they were Catholic, so my family's a little bit more new to that stuff.
Mm.
Because the book of Psalms is a major book in hoodoo. The book of Psalms. That's a
So
suppose I know is a spell book. Thank you for the gifts.
Yeah.
And then like my mom's side, like I had the Black church experience, and when I go to my dad's side, they're still Catholic. I got that YT church experience, with the whole choir and all that. That's how it is in the Catholic Church. So.
In the way that we worship anyway, I could pull up the let me go find the Powhatan source. Yeah, how the Powhatan were worshiping their great spirit, the great spirit in their religion.
like the
Powhatan.
Thunderbird and B Mola. You got
And then
Easy
we
Bomb.
kind of do have elements of hoodoo because when I go home to my mom's ancestral home, they have like the pictures up on the wall venerating their ancestors and stuff. That's a hoodoo practice, I'm pretty sure. It's
Yeah,
kind of like an altar. I feel like it's kind of like an altar.
that is altar.
Or have you came across like some type of relatives or people in Hoodoo that write Hebrew writings on the wall and have goats and stuff surrounding them or farm animals? Uh, um, and they advocates in like going to church and they surround themselves around like funeral home morticians and things of that nature. Because within my own family, my uncle was knee deep in like necromancy and utilizing like Hebrew symbols on his wall, and he had close ties to this hoodoo woman that introduced him into like conjure and stuff like that named Sally. She was a hairdresser with my grandmother in a way, and what our grandmother would tell us is that she could like remove herself from out her body and channel her own soul across like distances and stuff and communicate with her in that way. And also what I noticed, I was going to ask you if you ever mentioned calaveras in offering tables or something like that, where people paint themselves in skull face paints, like the Chimbu tribe out there in Papua New Guinea, compared to like the
No, my
Mardi Gras Indians or.
My
I
family
can
didn't do that,
name
but my
some.
family was 7 Day Adventists. So they're like Jesus freaks. You had to go to vacation Bible school. You had to memorize the Bible front to back. You had to go to, instead of going to church on Sunday, you had to go to church on Saturday after you get home from church.
Mhm.
You can't turn on the TV for 2 days. I think like that, something like that.
Oh, so you're like Prince because he was a Seventh Day Evangelist.
My family converted from Catholicism to 7 Day Adventism, and then my dad's family, they stayed Catholic.
Mm.
I have something for you too, Tyrell. In Louisiana, one of the tribes that I'm connected with, is called it's like tribal blood thing. They call the Skull of Bones, right? They
Mm.
were an actual tribe in Louisiana, and that's where the Skull of Bones. That's where the YT people get their Skull of Bones from, and they have a parade with the Louisiana Indians sometimes, and they dress up kind of similar to Boam Samdi with the top hat and the black and the white. They when they go on their parades, but it's kind of similar to what you're talking about. You should look them up. The Skull of Bones.
And then I think my family's also different from y'all's. I think because my family's from Opelousas, and they fled Opelousas during the Opelousas unalivings, and then they fled to Alexandria, where there was a high Anglo population. So they went from a heavily French population to a heavy Anglo population. So I'm sure whatever they was practicing has been lost due to that migration or something. I don't know.
So Gerbil, why do so many Pan Africanists or people that want to go to African voodoo, why do they confuse Baron Saturday or Baron Samedi as Eshu or Elegba and stuff like that?
Because they ignorant. Because okay, for one of the reasons, because both of them guard the crossroads, right? That's the main reason. Baron guards the crossroads in the spiritual realm, and Papa Legba, he guards the crossroads to this realm. So if you're gonna do like some type of ritual with Papa Legba, you go to any crossroad in this realm. But if you're gonna do any type of ritual for Baron Samedi, you'll go to the grave site. You go to the crossroad in the graveyard to do it.
All
So
right.
that's one reason. Another reason is media, for the most part, media get their depictions confused. Media is a big reason. Papa Legba is pictured as an old man with a dog. He walks with a dog and a limp. Baron Samdi is the guy with the hat, and he wears purple. So this, he's part of the Gede, and he wears purple to distinguish himself from the other
Wait, I thought
Gede.
that was Papa like the one in
Okay. All right. I'm about to show
No,
something. I'm about to show something.
the one with he has like a hat or something.
Baron.
And
All
don't
right.
y'all
This.
got like
I'm about to show something.
I'm
Don't.
sorry.
Didn't you hear me?
I'm sorry, Dari.
All right. We got religion in early Virginia society, right here.
Sanamako, is that a tribe or something?
Yeah,
It's the
that's
original.
a actual name.
It's the original name of Virginia. The Senecomica.
I didn't know that.
All right, so I'm about to read this. It's down to where it says shamans were the most important men in Powhatan society. Werewolves or chiefs. That's the name of chief. Werewolves were obliged to seek approval. I forgot it. Quiko soup. Yeah, Quiko soup. Before engaging in the most important activities. I got brush up on my Powhatan. It's shaman's obligation to secure such approval from the spirits, usually by the ways in a trance. An entrance shaman shouted, all right, this is the key part. An entrance shaman shouted or howled, often in intelligible language, contorting his body and face, and sweating profuse. What does that sound like? That sounds like somebody catching the Holy Ghost.
Oh yeah, that too.
That sounds like somebody catching the Holy Ghost.
And speaking tongues.
Yeah, speaking in tongues and catching the Holy Ghost. The way the Powhatan were going into their ceremonies, the shamans, they howled, shouted often in intelligible language, contorting his body and face. The same way you say, and then they were dancing too, and stuff like that. Blah blah. Shamans also served as doctors, right? Doctors. Let's look at the etymology of doctor. The doctor means church father. What are a lot of people? A lot of our folks became pastors and stuff. I know my folks did. Religious teacher, advisor. The etymology of a doctor is a church father. Teachers, advisor, scholar. this, and that. This is a doctor, and
Mm.
yeah, and the way our shamans basically became pastors and preachers. So if your
So how do
family,
they combine witch doctor together? Because that's weird.
yeah, let me see how they dance. I think it showed how they dance, conjure. They conjured too. They conjured too. They conjured and danced. John Smith described in details the Powhatan religious rituals, and they would conjure whether Smith's intentions were friendly or not. So, ceremony lasted 12 hours a day, 12-hour days, with a feast punctuating at the end of each day. Don't what that? Who's in church all day? Who be in church all day? They in all three goddamn services.
My
All
family,
Grandma.
unfortunately,
and then they go eat after.
they show
House of
up early
prayer.
too. They show up early and stay after, and then they spend 7 hours talking after that.
And then they eat after. They get some fried chicken, some freaking greens, and some mac and cheese. What you
And
about to say,
And I
cold.
Los?
do, and I do want to say that's exactly the type of church that I grew up in with with my old grandmama, because my grandfather was a pastor. I'm talking about we went to school. I mean, we went to church Sunday, Wednesday, and Friday. Friday we went to the old people home to preach to them and stuff. So yeah,
Boy,
I grew up like that too.
corn.
Maybe going to church. Get me out of here.
Well, both my parents is deacons, so they in church all day on Sunday. They're in church all day.
And then after you eat, they still there for another 3 or 4 hours talking about nothing.
And look, they're gathering around. They're gathering around, dancing in a circle, catching the Holy Ghost. Shaman come through catching the Holy Ghost. And then, yeah, they hallelujah right now. Catching the Holy Ghost.
yeah. Real quick before you get back started, I
I was
wanted to
done.
touch on the gemstones that you mentioned. Now I don't know about y'all, but I was kind of like a nosy little kid inside my grandmama's room. So when I go inside her jewelry chest, she didn't have diamonds and stuff. She had rubies, emeralds, pearl necklaces and stuff like that. So, and she would never tell me why you got them. She'd just laugh at me.
He was in the choir. I was in the choir
That's
for a little bit
mighty
too.
familiar because in House of Prayer they be holding services all day, all night. They don't even let you go. Like people be falling out and going to sleep in the service too. And they have like intermissions where they play music and dance and all that.
Venus, that's Papa Legba.
Oh, I thought it was the what's the other? It's like the
SU,
deity with the he has like a black hat, a black.
Yeah,
hat.
that's
that's
Baron
Samdi.
Zombie. That's Baron Zombie. This
Why
is
they always
Papa.
depict him? Don't they be depicting him as a Legba?
Yeah, the media depict them wrong.
And what's SU? Isn't he like the demon like thing?
Both of these entities are good entities, but I just wanted to let y'all know.
Mm.
For sure, you right? Yep. Who doing up? Yep.
And also, I wanted to mention, do y'all still venerate like what's his name, Harukan,
I
Atabe,
I didn't
Wabanse?
know this was a voodoo live. I didn't know this was Voodoo Heritage Month.
Darvin,
I didn't know that.
Darvin, are you African?
No, this is Hoodoo Heritage Month. I want to talk about hoodoo. I don't want to talk about voodoo. Sorry,
Well,
not
we can talk
sorry.
about American Indian deities like Bimola. We can talk about Unctena, the serpent deity. You can talk about Azibon, Iktomi, Grandma Spider, all types of
We
Nanabozo.
don't practice. That's the thing. We don't practice deities in hoodoo. We don't. This is about root work and venerating our ancestors.
I've never heard about any of those things you're saying.
Well, these are animisms
Yeah, animism.
within
Yeah, animism. Like
American
this ain't.
But
Indian.
any animisms that we practice today, they would be symbolic and layer in other things because we don't practice it exactly how our ancestors did.
because I think it got
this
lost
is
in the
modern. This is
shuffle.
modern times in the USA. So
I think we still preserved it underneath like things like follow the drinking gourd, with trying to escape to the north, or navigating the stars. It coincides with coyote. You got things like the trickster deities, like people say a Nazi the
It's making my
spider.
live inactive. Like I wasn't just speaking right now. I like really wasn't like I wasn't just speaking.
Go
And
ahead,
tap.
Darvin.
No, I'm talking about TikTok hit me with a live inactivity. So
that.
yeah,
Do you have to restart it to get rid of it?
no, I got rid of it.
That's crazy.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. I've never heard about any of these things you're talking about, Tyron. So I don't know. Maybe Darvin has, or Gerbil, or Los.
My grandparents, yeah, like
I haven't.
grandparent deities, but
Okay.
yeah, who?
I'll talk about something Hoodoo. All right. So our grandparent. Oh, were you about to speak? I'm sorry, Darvin. Go ahead.
Just go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I'm good. Go ahead.
I don't know where to go around where I was gonna go anyway. Kind of threw
What about your
We're just trying to get the topic back on
Nagul?
Hoodoo.
I'm trying to get thone. I've been thrown off. So the hold on.
I know they got
I'm
Mexican
not done
food as
speaking.
well.
I'm not done speaking. I'm not done speaking. Trying to get the live back to the topic at hand. I'm not gonna lie, I'm thrown off right now.
Okay, the medicines that our grandmothers used to make. That like I remember my grandmother used to just come up like when I was a little girl and I was sick. She used to go to the backyard and just pull like herbs and stuff from the backyard and just here, girl, take this, and not even tell me what it is. But then when I got older, she gave me this book that got all kinds of like stuff on how to make it for my daughter and stuff, like certain herbal remedies and stuff. And I can share in a second. Hold on.
The evidence that Hoodoo has nothing to do with Africa was already shown in live. You should have been in here. That's a personal problem. Go do research. I don't know.
Who said that?
Person in the comments, hide Sugo.
Who is that? Come up here then. What's up, Michaela? Come up here then.
No, I just said Voden has its roots in West Africa. That's just a.
You said we're not talking about that. We're not talking about
It
that.
says Hoodoo, not Voodoo or Voodoo.
Yes, Voden is the sort of the framework that Hoodoo and Voodoo and Vodou are based upon.
Well, no, it's not.
What in Hoodoo and Voodoo are similar? Hold on, what in Hoodoo and African Voodoo, how are they similar? Can you please explain that?
The general framework is what.
So what part of the general framework is similar to Voodoo?
A lot of the ritualistic beliefs and systems are sort of translated over. You see with the American side of Hoodoo and Voodoo, you see the introduction of.
Hold on, you can't say Hoodoo and Voodoo because those are two different religions. You have to choose one. We're talking about Hoodoo.
Voodoo is not a religion.
They have this, it's like Judaism and Christianity. They have a root that they share.
Hold on, everybody. Hold on.
Wait, I just want him to
I got
explain
one question.
what specific roots are the same. I want him to explain that before.
Voted.
I got one question for him though. Are you like Black American or YT or what?
No, I'm YT, but I have a degree
this discussion isn't for you.
I have a degree in anthropology specifically related to this topic.
Yeah, you don't have a degree in that.
Listen.
Okay,
you are not about to tell
you're not about to
tell the descendants of this spiritual practice where we come from. You are a YT person. You have no reason to speak on our practices.
If you're YT, why are you studying African religions and indigenous American practices?
Yeah, I was about to say. And then how do you have a degree in something that's a family practice?
This is creepy.
This is Melville. This is the doings of Melville Hershkovitz. Honestly, how do you have a degree in something that's based off someone's family? It's a family practice.
The father of anthropology itself is Johann Friedrich Blumenbach, and he's the man responsible for color code identities and race classifications.
You
So
also
the
don't sound black.
yeah, the entire field of anthropology was created for racist purposes. It was to delineate and create race classifications and color codes that we still cause the confusion today between indigenous populations. He may be a scholar who has studied, but I'm a practicing Nahual, commonly known as shaman from this land. So, as Darwin and many people have been saying this whole time, our ancestors were plants. We never learned from schools. We remember ourselves through plant technologies. And that was typically the shaman's role. Our systems of philosophy were never hierarchical. They weren't vertical, they were horizontal. So the shaman or quote Nahual or whatever, I use plant person because a plant person removes the ethnic identity, and all cultures across the planet have plant people. But they were there to help people use plants as a way and a method of remembering self and ancestors. But the plants themselves were ancestors. They weren't seen as plants. We made no philosophical or linguistic distinctions between ourselves, plants, and animals. So that's an easy way to discern whether a person is of indigenous philosophy, because those who are trying to delineate that people can be or can't be indigenous, that's YT philosophy. That's hierarchical structure. Those who are inviting, which is what I see a lot here on David's panel, he's always been inviting to me, always welcoming, and everyone here supports my position because they understand I come with literature. And so in this case, I would say that most, quote, Black people that are indigenous to the Americas have been most inviting and practice indigenous philosophy.
For sure. Hey, Nicole, where you from? What's ethnicity?
I'm sorry, I couldn't understand you.
Where you from? What's ethnicity?
Oh, I'm from Texas and I'm black.
Okay.
And I understand what you mean about indigenous identity. I can't see your full name, gentleman, in the bottom right-hand corner. But we're still not. Hoodoo is a closed practice. It's not necessarily just a. I don't even know how to explain what I'm trying to say. It's not something that
He
someone who
never
is
said he
not one
practiced
of
hoodoo.
us could have studied.
No, I practice.
He never said
I
he
do practice
practiced
black
hoodoo.
arts. I do practice that type of associative voodoo or hoodoo.
Wait, is he
It's
getting Nagua? I mean, is she getting Nagua confused with the dude who just dropped? Because I don't understand.
yeah. I was kind of trying to figure that myself.
Are you getting Nagua confused with the dude, the YT dude who just dropped down, or something?
No, I'm not. Maybe I misunderstood the point that he was making. I did just get here, so I guess I'll catch up a little bit.
No, there was a YT dude up here who said he studied anthropological stuff having to do with voodoo and hoodoo, but he dropped down. I didn't know if you're thinking of him.
What's up, Tim? What's up? Like the live, yeah. All right, what's
Hey,
up?
I requested by mistake. I'll go right now. So somebody could got me.
All right, for sure. All right, for sure. So, yeah, it's a closed hoodoo is a closed practice. Majority of us did not call it hoodoo either. So,
Yeah, typically these positions are given to people who have a lineage that are associated with plant people. So their lineage has always been tied to the practice of plants. So when you made reference to the shamans are the Tungus people from Siberia. So only they can technically be shaman. But like I said, every culture across the planet had these type of people, and they were specifically. I mean, the Tungus shaman, he would go out and pick mushrooms, specifically the Amanita muscaria, and they would have a yearly tradition, sometimes even bi-yearly or whatever, where the entire village would ingest the mushrooms, and they would have a celebration, like you showed the people in a circle dancing, playing music. These are all ways of inducing a trance-like state, so where we could access those avenues of what would be called memory, or quote DNA, which would rather be the geometric structure of water. So when we access memory, not from colleges or stuff like that, that's just ridiculous. We would access our internal memory that would be carried on and stored through quote DNA from our lineage, from our ancestors.
I still can't believe this man said he learned that in school when there's some of us who are struggling to, some of us who are disconnected from our ancestors that are struggling to learn hoodoo. And this man get up here and say he learned that in school.
Like how do
That's
you like
crazy.
that's that see that's the damage that Melville Hershkovitz has done. Melville Hershkovitz has done. People like Melville Hershkovitz, Fran Boas, all these other folks, Lazor New Hurston, thinking that hoodoo is this religion from Africa that you could teach people about. No, it's a closed practice. You can't study a closed practice based off people's families. You can't. You can't. And what my grandma taught me might not be the same thing your grandma taught you. The way my grandma was a private nurse. My grandma was a private nurse. She made her own medicine. That's root work.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you gotta be in the family type thing with these things. Like, that was crazy. I feel like really disrespected.
Yeah, I feel like people just see things online and run with it. Someone was saying you should honor all your ancestors, but I'm like, all of our ancestors might not be good people. Or what if you trying to
Yeah.
worship your great grandma? Your great grandma was a horrible person when she was alive. Why would you want to venerate that? Like, y'all need to like know who these people are that you're worshiping and stuff.
Yeah.
If you ever notice any type of thing that are written by quote shaman or whatever, there's always some intermediary between the person and the shaman. It's never the quote shaman themselves, which means that the language of plant people is of cyclical philosophy, which can't be expressed via binary linear linguistics, which is what English has. It's like I can't explain something about a people who never made distinctions between man and woman in a language that specifically delineates man and women for the sake of for nonsense, kind of.
Let me see. What's this? How's this tweet doing on Twitter? I'm pretty sure my mentions are blowing up off this tweet. I actually went viral. One of my first viral tweets was about Hoodoo. The new blacks were definitely mad about that. And
You have the video?
I'll show the tweet. Hoodoo is not for that.
Okay.
Hoodoo Heritage Month. How many views this guy? It's not 79. We had words for that. I was gonna say a lot of these new blacks too. Want to take a stab at Hoodoo? Oop, not that, but take a poke at Hoodoo. I say have here FYI, Hoodoo is an American root word,
It's
not African.
October. I'm slow.
Yeah, it's October 1st.
Yep.
Yeah, it's October 1st. It's Hoodoo Heritage Month. FYI, Hoodoo is
Oh
an
gosh, I
American
love
root word,
October. It's my favorite.
not African. Majority of us didn't even call it Hoodoo. And look, an African, another white. What? Hold on. What? I just saw that. Oh, I should share that video that I saw earlier. Hold on. I should share that video. Hold on 1 second, because I sent it to Venus. I should put that. Speaking of,
Yeah, I was like, ooh, more ammo to use. More ammo I could put up on
hold
TikTok.
on. Let me see.
I'm arguing.
Let me see. I'm about to turn StreamYard down or restream down. Actually, I don't know. You had to be in. No, you didn't. No, you do not. You do not need to be initiated to no goddamn. Initiated by your family, maybe. Yeah. But hold on. Let me go back to X.
Sound like they gatekeeping name root work. That's crazy.
Initiated by your family, maybe. Yeah.
There's someone.
They got the white T man scared.
This is the side to Lagos that you don't see. Okay, nice to meet you. I'm good. No, I'm good. Okay, thank you. I'm good.
Do you see how they try to get a line up? It still don't look American.
As you can see.
I need. This is the classic. This is a classic case of DYT. He said you want to back up off me, please. You said yeah. You gotta back up off me, please. Like
Like you got John no what's that? Brer Rabbit, you got Ickshell, you got this Wabbo thing. Why does this rabbit stuff keep popping up whenever we bring up like spiritual talking points like hoodoo or voodoo or whatever?
yeah, I was about to say, but yeah, they were upset. It's got 2,000 views, 79 likes. So we'll see how it is. I might just have 10,000 tomorrow on it. Who was that? Mm, but yeah,
Starting to go to Africa.
you said what?
That's you going to Africa and them people all over you.
I
He had a
swear.
straight face.
Yeah, the straight face. I was like, bro, can you? I don't know. I'm not YT, so they're not. They ain't gonna. They ain't like. I don't
Oh,
know.
it's that nigga.
They're
Who's
gonna be
this
probably side eyeing. Thank you.
nigga?
Yeah. Thanks. Shout out to everybody sending gifts. Uh, for sure.
Yes.
Pepper spray. He called me a YTCOCK sucker. Oh, okay. I got something for you. Uh huh.
Well, these trolls be vicious. I ain't even
On
gonna
Twitter,
cap.
they definitely vicious on Twitter. I'm like, boy, if you don't shut. Don't worry, I'm
Did
worse.
you repost that, Charlie? No, Charlie.
Nah, cause there ain't nothing worthy of conversation. That stuff old.
Oh
Man, they
man,
bad. They bad on Instagram thread too. That's wild over there.
you could have
Yep.
put up them crowning the Asian for a day and putting them on their shoulder.
I'm not even going to address it. I didn't even say. I was like, okay, all right. He called me what? All right, but I'll go back and forth with people on Twitter like I used to. I'll give them the blues. I'll just get Red Joker on them. Cool Joe Lewis, man. He talking about some Cool Joe Lewis. Cool Joe Lewis brought. He's saying Cool Joe Lewis brought Hoodoo to
Huh?
America. Oh, EFA practice. So EFA is Hoodoo now. Hold
Oh
on.
my lord.
Absolutely not.
So you're telling me a man brought Hoodoo to America in 1860 to America in the 1860s.
Mm. I hate to get off topic, but the voodoo thing. What's the overlap with the Arawak semis and the Mexican? Have you looked into that? Nagel.
The crossover between what?
The semis and Arawak, Taino, Carib, deities in the Mexican pantheon.
Well, I can
Hoodoo.
say this:
Yeah, hoodoo.
we didn't really have the the assertion that deities, like we had gods of some sort. That's a false assertion. Like I said before, our ancestors were specifically things that we could see, things that we interacted with on a daily, meaning animals and plants. And as I said before, we made no linguistic or philosophical distinctions between ourselves and those beings. The term spirit wasn't even entered into our lexicon. It was only entered later and then assumed and written into cultural literature from YT people's influence, where they actually got. I mean, the first person they would unalive when they came over here was the quote shaman of any group. So they did that with intention to disconnect us from our cultural identities and practices.
I say holy man, but anything like chalk or what's some other ones? I know it's a similar overlap with African voodoo on like deities within the Americas because you got like one deity that got like a arrow and a bow, but in the form of like the atlatl, and
So I
it's
think,
similar to Ochosi, or you
yeah,
got
like witch
overlap.
doctors.
Yeah, you got overlaps with Shango and uh the Mexican Aztec pantheon, or um something with Harukan and something with Harukan and Guaban sex and Atabay and stuff like that.
What are we talking about? All right.
Atabay and stuff like that.
I'm 65 and white.
YT, you're YT. What do you want, yo?
Well, Hoodoo and voodoo comes from Africa, like you guys do.
Hey, they come from Africa like you guys do. When did your family get to America, buddy? When did your family get to America, buddy?
I'd say about.
You say about 1900. So
I'm not ashamed of it.
You've been in my country from the 1900s. Since the 1900s. When did you get over here, sir? Did you flee Europe? What country in Europe did your daddy flee from? Did your granddaddy flee from? What country? Which country? Which liberal land country did your commie granddaddy run from? Huh?
Are you from Nigeria?
You're a descendant of communists, sir. So what brings you over here? Because your commie country, your granddaddy fled from, and you got the nerve to call yourself a MAGA and call yourself a conservative when your great granddaddy was a commie and he left your country.
Are you done?
Only communists flee.
Can I talk, please?
But you're not a patriot, sir. You never were a patriot. Your granddaddy came over in the 1900s. You're an immigrant. So you're an anchor baby, sir. You're an anchor baby. Are you done? Are you done, sir? You're trying to fake a southern accent. Well, you should be having your original Germanic accent, sir. I know a German when I hear
your country boy. I don't like your kind.
You're N-A-Z-I descendant. Your great granddaddy was a German.
Your country boy.
Or a Scots Irish man that fled, came over here starving like Marvin. The Chata had to give you some potatoes so you can eat over there, buddy. Goodbye. You just wanted to come up here and say the hard R. I don't know why you just don't come up here and say it. Be bold enough already, buddy. You should have been bold enough already. Get these liberal commies out of here that fled their countries in the 1900s. Fled their country. Your granddaddy was a communist. All right, but go ahead. Back to regularly scheduled programming.
And the way you kept remuting him was hilarious. Oh Lord, the nerve!
I'm the remute queen.
Terrible troll.
People, see, my people, those people with those potatoes. See,
I ain't YT. You're not YT. I'm just.
Yeah, but them people that gave those Irish people them potatoes. Well, that dude was trolling.
I'm sure.
Back to Tyron's.
Oh well, you got muted and blocked now. Well, we can tell Armed General. Well, you can. I don't really care. My dad's a deacon.
Typically, our people who were our lineages were tied to those associations. We were automatically placed in those type of positions, being a deacon of a church, a priest, or something like that. But it was mostly inferred by YT hierarchies in the church, so that we would disassociate ourselves from our plant practices, and that's where they started to implement laws. I mean, that was one of the first kind of laws that they implemented when they came over here, was to disallow us from practicing practices with psychoactive plants. And since those days, I mean, they've come up with all kinds of names for us. Like even my name, which is I would use, it was a name assigned to me because indigenous people didn't practice first last name construct. So any person that has spirit in their title, in their surname, it was an attribute that was observed by colonizers and that they would assign to us so that they could track and trace us for the rest of our lives. A lot of our names have been changed, whether it be spelling or completely usurped and then given some other type of alternative names. But these people are still around. We have, like someone said that their father was a pastor. He could definitely have a line, because that spiritualism was assigned to us, and then we just automatically assumed YT culture's practices because we weren't allowed to practice ours, punishable by unaliving.
Alrighty, for sure. It's kind of. Let me see. Anything else? Anybody? I might just restart the live. Leave my laptop's always. I don't have too much to say on Hoodoo right now. Too much more to say.
But what about George Washington Carver, bro? Because he utilized like plants and root work.
Yeah, that's still root work.
I would definitely say he was a shaman for sure. Absolutely.
Hey, what's up? Thank you for the follow, Mama Son. What are you about to say, Nicole?
I just have a question for the Nagual. What's your ethnicity?
I'm Toltec. People from Guatemala.